Is that going to be the lead into this episode? We're just going to directly rip off an episode of the Dismal Jesters.
Yes. We should probably not do that, though.
Good evening, everybody out there in this wonderful wide world of shit. It's the ISoGS podcast, In Search of Gay Shit, as you've always known and loved. Where I'm your host, as always, the wonderful, the legendary, the beautiful, Mr. VZ Peasy Man. And with me, as always, you might see him around the corner, running late for class with a piece of toast in his mouth. It's the Kawaii Senpai 69.
Hello, listeners. How are you on this beautiful evening as we approach everyone's favorite time? It is about to be 9:11 o'clock where I live.
Wait. It's locally 9/11 everywhere.
It's true. In our hearts. So
Well, that was a horrible intro. That was no. That's don't try to segue out of that. That was horrible. Let's see what we have. So it's been a while.
Yeah, it's funny how a week can feel like such a long time.
So many things have happened. So many things have transpired, and we look forward to discussing all of that this evening. We have. I've been playing a lot of a game called Factorio. Been watching a pretty cool show called Black Mirror. Got some discussion about two animes that both start with Re.
Fucking normies.
Talking about Re Life and what is it? Re Zero a Life. Beginning a new something gay something. And then my boy KS, he's got some mysterious shit to talk about in interludes.
I always have shit to talk about.
But to start us off, we're going to. So, a lot has happened in this last week. We have unfortunately not been able to report on it, so we're gonna. How about a little challenge?
Challenge.
I'm throwing the gloves down.
All right.
This is a duel. We're going to. Here's how the duel's gonna work.
Okay, I'm listening.
We're gonna duel in the only way that we know how.
Okay.
We're just going to suggest stuff, and then we're both gonna give ratings, and then we're going to move on.
Okay.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna do that back and forth. Whoever can't name something that's happened since the last recording that we've had.
1 week ago.
1 week ago, exactly. That person loses.
Okay.
And they have to have sex with a pig live on air.
Would you call this a lightning round?
I would say that this is the very definition of a lightning round.
My body is ready.
Actually, if we were a higher quality podcast, I would say this is the very definition of a lightning round, and then there would be like a sick echo effect.
Some kind of thunder and.
Yeah, and some kind of thunder and lightning, and then there would be like an intro soundtrack that takes us into the part where we walk over to our buzzers, and then we sit down, and Steve Harvey says, name something that lives in your pants, and then I hit the buzzer, and I say, my dick, and then he just has a really, really sad look on his face.
It just frowns.
Just resigns to his fate of forever being in the limelight of the cesspool of America.
I'm sure our listeners can imagine that beautiful intro as we prepare for this.
It it's really my vision, and it's what I look forward to. Several decades from now, whenever PewDiePie and Captain Sparkles and every other YouTuber ahead of us has died, and we're the only ones left, and people have to listen to us then.
That'll be a glorious day.
The great YouTube wars, great YouTube civil war. Anyway, here, let's give me a second. So here's how let's start this the only way that I know how. I'm gonna flip a coin.
All right.
You're gonna call it. What do you want? Head or tails?
Okay. Let me know when it's in the air, and I'll call it. It's the proper way.
All right. It's in the air.
Okay, heads.
Oh, you got it. You want to go first or second?
I will go first. All right, listeners. I know it's hard to believe, but in the past week, Donald Trump has become president. What do you rate that, VZPZ?
Meme out of 10.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you there. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Meme, or maybe a solid build that wall, or who's gonna pay for it?
As long as Mexico pays for it, that's all that matters to me.
Build that wall out of who's going to pay for it. There we go. Perfect.
I like it.
I know it's hard to believe, listeners, but within the last week, we have transcended space and time and have finally escaped the horrible fate that is 2016. What would you give that rating? What rating would you give
that one? I have to give a solid 69 out of 10.
I'm giving it a 0 out of 10. Oh wait, hold on. Are you giving a 16 out of 10 to the fact that we escaped 2016 or 2016 itself?
To the fact that we got out and have finally slain 2016.
That's fair. I'm giving 2016 itself a 0 out of 10.
Yes,
a spin on it.
I agree with that entirely.
All right, you're up.
Okay.
1 for 1. So,
Betsy DeVos has been appointed the chairman of the Education Secretary, or some kind of words that I can't say anymore. Department of Education. There we go.
There you go. Are we a political podcast? Is that all this is now?
Yes. Socio-political commentary beginning tonight.
This is where the people come. Right after they're done with fucking Alex Jones, they come right over here.
So what do you rate that?
I don't know. This is news even to me. It's so fresh that I haven't even been made aware of it within the last week.
Would you like a little background on this wonderful woman that Donald Trump has appointed?
I guess.
So basically her whole deal is she thinks that education should be privatized, and she has absolutely no idea of anything that she's talking about. When she was being interviewed, I guess you would call it, before her confirmation with the Senate, like, she couldn't answer simple questions about what she had to do for her job. And her family has donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Republican Party, and she has admitted in a previous interview, this was years ago, she said that, yeah, we're just waiting for a payoff.
Oh. Okay. Well, we'll see how that pans out. I'm gonna give that a tentative, unplayable at launch 8 out of 10.
Okay. I'm gonna give that a negative 2,000 out of 10.
Wow, you really didn't like it, huh?
No, I did not enjoy. Definitely would not recommend.
What do you care? You're not in school anymore.
Our listeners didn't know that. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't want to ruin this image they had of you of some sort of deep-voiced 13-year-old.
They thought I was in high school. Remember that intro you did?
Oh, fuck. How are you supposed to be their senpai?
It's all ruined. It's all gone.
You're some sort of weird adult with, like, actual problems and shit.
Alright, what do you got for me?
I know it's hard to believe, listeners, but would you I know it's hard to believe, but can you take a moment and would you possibly give it a chance to believe that The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus has finally been released to the public?
I would
After
believe
years
that.
after years of holding it hostage, it's finally been released. Tyrone and Edmund have seen fit. We have completed all of their ARG BS.
All right, okay. I give that a solid 9 out of 10. I've really been enjoying Afterbirth.
I give it a 2 out of 10. Binding of Isaac's just a fad. I'm sure that it won't be around a year from now. Just like, gosh, when did the original come out? Was that had to be like 2006?
I don't even remember. It's been forever.
Well, there's a wiki for it. When did it come out? 2011. Okay, actually that old.
Not actually that old. We're in 2017 now, boy.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That week went by fast. All right, you're up. What do you get? What you got for me?
Okay. There is a new season of Samurai Jack coming out soon.
Yeah, but that didn't happen last week.
Right, but the trailer came out. Did you watch that trailer?
All right, I'll give that to you on a technicality since you're talking about the trailer, not the show. I didn't actually see the trailer. I saw, unless it was the trailer like a 30-second clip of him like riding a motorcycle and then like Jack is back.
No, there was an actual trailer with bits and pieces of what's going to happen. You know, as trailers are wont to do.
No, I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to. I had heard, 2 weeks ago, that it had been in the mix and they were looking to put it on Adult Swim's Toonami, but I hadn't seen anything definitive for a while.
Yep, it is official.
It has official?
It has official.
Thank God. I'm gonna give that an 8 out of 10. Just the trailer.
Okay. I can agree with that. I give that an 8 out of 10 as well.
Alright. Shit. It's my turn.
It is.
Listeners, would you believe that in the last week... Oh, fuck, I'm running out of things. I had this big list prepared throughout the day, and I'm just fucking blanking. Shit, I just had something. What was it?
Wait a minute.
For fuck's sake. Oh!
Do I smell victory?
How dare you? In my final throes, you would dare taunt me in my hour of need. Listeners, I know it's hard to believe, but would you consider that in the last week, Pokemon Sun and Moon has finally been released?
That is true.
We're just all over the place for last week.
And I actually, in the past week, I beat Pokemon Sun.
I'm sorry, you sucked Pokemon Sun?
Yes.
Well, that's impressive.
Precisely. I certainly did not say beat.
Okay, good. I wanted to clarify for all the listeners out there. I wasn't confused. I just want to make sure that's clear. So you played Sun, I played Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, since it came out 6 days ago, there's already been talk about Pokemon Stars.
Mm-hmm. I have heard
being
about
in the
that.
mix. So I don't even, man.
Exciting times.
I would honestly say we're gonna have to pick a time to dedicate to this more thoroughly because I would like for us to talk about it more in depth.
Agreed.
But tentatively, I'm just gonna have to say that 9.8 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. I actually really enjoyed those games. I give it a 9.5.
9.5, yeah, it's pretty good. So that's me. I don't know why I went first on the rating there, but that's me. You're up.
All right.
Let's see what you got.
Pokemon Go in this past week has started its Valentine's Day event where you get double candies, and I've finally got to evolve another Arcanine.
That doesn't count.
Pokemon Go Valentine's event? That totally counts.
No, that doesn't count.
It does. I'll fight you.
Alright then. Would you believe that last week they had the Pokemon Go New Year's event?
That is pretty crazy. They also like a week and a half ago had the Christmas event.
Would you believe that they also had the Halloween event?
Just so many things crammed into 1 week. It's amazing.
All right, you know what? I'll give all of those to you, but I'm gonna give them to you wholesale. You only get 1 point.
All right. I guess that's fair.
I participated in like the first few because I was still really into Pokemon Go. But honestly, mostly because I'm lazy, and mostly because I don't really. It's it's weird how popular it was, and then now how desolate it is.
Right.
I just don't really have any desire to play. I didn't play in this most recent one. I think I went out for a little bit for the Christmas one, but that was it.
Yeah. I mostly play while I'm at work.
I guess that would actually be pretty good, because you walk all around the place and shit. Whenever I'm at work, unless if they're doing like the increased spawns one, there's nothing there. There's no point.
Yeah.
Kind of gay, mostly gay.
Pretty gay out of 10.
Yeah, pretty gay out of 10. That's what I give it.
Yeah.
The ball's in my court. Let's see here. Shit. I may be out of stuff. No, I'm not out of stuff. Would you believe, listeners, that since last week, Resident Evil 7 was finally released?
That is pretty fucking intense.
I know this isn't really something that you kept up with, KS, but it had a fairly lengthy demo life. They oh fuck me, who is it? Capcom released a demo at around the time of E3, and they kept iterating stuff and adding things onto it, and it kept panning out as like this crazy pseudo ARG that just the demo kept. Every time they would release an update, there was just more layers and layers they were iterating upon. And there was all this secret shit that people were finding for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then the game finally came out a couple days ago. That's it. And it's actually really good. I know this isn't really anything that we kept up with, but whenever Resident Evil 4 was the last game that I think both you and I played out of the Resident Evil series.
I heard bad things about 5.
Yeah, 5 and 6, they just kept... 5, they moved towards this like way more action-focused gameplay, and then 6, which was even worse, they had like these split timelines and stuff that just didn't make sense. You'd play as different characters, and there was just crazy over-the-top stuff. There was... at one point, I think like one of the characters kicks a boulder or something, and it explodes, and it's just like not even being... Like, there's no build up to it. It just like happened. I don't know. It was getting ridiculous and out of hand.
That sounds really cool.
They're totally like jumping the shark at that point, is my understanding. But 7 was a really great return to form, focusing a lot more on creating this very creepy and spooky atmosphere, and just sort of putting you in this world and making you feel very immersed. As opposed to just trying to focus on like, trying to be like Call of Duty or something retarded like that.
Sounds pretty dank. That was actually on my list of games to check out.
I would recommend it, especially if you liked 4 and if you enjoy good horror games. I would say that it's definitely something to look into. What score would you give that?
I'd give that an 8 out of 10 for the nostalgia factor, the good old days playing RE4.
Go. Put it on the back of the box. Sight unseen, 8 out of 10, Kawaii Senpai. I'll give it a 7 out of 7. It's pretty good.
That's a good score.
All right, ball's in your court.
All right,
let's see if
possibly
see if I can take home the cup.
Possibly the most important event of the past week, overshadowing everything that we have talked about thus far.
My God, no.
A major achievement has happened.
Okay, I don't know what this is.
Team Daiguren, our guild, Dino, went 3 out of 5 in Trial of the Grand Crusader 25 man.
a a nearly 10-year-old raid that nobody really cared about.
Precisely.
We have finally defeated.
Slightly more than halfway through.
Exactly. All right, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree.
That's a good capstone to this really bad segment. I don't have anything else. I can't think of anything. That's.
Oh yeah,
And then
that's
this,
the good
this
shit.
is this is the point where they would shine the spotlights on you and be like, "We have a winner!"
There would be
Kawaii
lots of
senpai.
clapping and cheering.
Yeah, lots of clapping, lots of hooting and hollering, and then Steve Harvey would come over with a big check.
Big old
And,
hootin' nanny.
All right, let's not get out of hand. We're talking
It's too
to
much.
children here. Let's keep it PG-13, all right, for the children.
Children across the country, on school playgrounds, everywhere listening. I apologize for that. That was a little too much.
Let's just take all of our content from those lovely boys over at the non-existent podcast, Dismal Gestures.
Exactly.
You completely made me. Oh, Steve Harvey comes out with the check that says "and $1 and hands it to you, and then you just say "my dick," and then he just immediately pulls out a knife and just slits his own throat right there on stage.
That would
And
be a
that's
good
the
show.
tale. That's the tale of your victory.
I would watch that show. I'd rate that show an 8 out of 10. Would watch again.
Yeah, an 8 out of 10. It's about where I would put it. So, that was a lightning round.
Yeah.
It was a horrible idea. We'll probably do it
It was
again.
pretty dank. I like horrible ideas. So
It's really weird how commonplace the word dank was, and I don't hear it anymore, other than from you.
yeah. I am a connoisseur of vintage memes, as you are aware.
I am aware of this, yeah.
So, what have you been up to other than all of these events that we talked about today? What is the VZ man doing in his spare time these days?
So I've been playing a lot of a game that came out a year ago called Factorio. It's a oh goodness, what's the best way to describe this? It's like a 2D survival game that's not really based on a lot of the similar tropes that a lot of other survival games. You know what? Let me just start over. It's a 2D survival game where you just build shit, basically. You're this person who's trying to get off of a planet, and the way you win is by launching a rocket. And launching a rocket just takes like a shitload of resources.
Okay.
And so the whole entire point of the game is you start building things like conveyor belts and robotic arms and automatic drilling units and factories and stuff like that to build and automate this process of eventually working up to like building a rocket. So like to start off you have like a furnace and like a drill that runs off of coal, and so you plop them down next to each other and whenever the drill mines up stuff, it puts it into the furnace, and you get like, smelted metal and shit like that.
Mm.
And then next you'll like build some boilers that generate electricity.
Sounds pretty dank.
And then after that you'll make electric drills that run off of the electricity, and then you'll make the drills carry coal up to the boilers to power them, so that's all automated and shit. And then you'll make a factory that makes like conveyor belts so that you don't have to ever build them in your inventory. It iterates like that. Every little step just requires that much more resources, and after a while it gets like crazy exponential. So then you have to start branching out across the land to like start bringing in all these other resources and stuff by like train and robots and stuff like that. It's it's a very cool ethos. It looks a lot. It's 2D top-down like StarCraft, and that's where a lot of the aesthetics come from. It looks like a game. If the engine that they made StarCraft in was something that was available, like Unreal or Unity or something like that. It looks like he made it in that engine almost.
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of interesting in that it's not just you on the planet. There's also these aliens that are also coincidentally based off of the StarCraft Zerg.
Okay.
Fuck that. That's what they were called, right? The Zerg. I totally just. Okay.
Yes.
I totally just had like a weird moment there where I was like, is that what they're called? Or is that word means something else?
No, Zerging is what we do in Obsidian Sanctum.
Classic, really old WoW jokes that nobody will get. Do you think that people who play the game, how let's look at it this way. What percentage of people that currently play World of Warcraft, if we asked them what expansion Obsidian Sanctum was from, that they would be able to name it correctly?
Well, considering I think all the old raids are in like a list, probably a good bit.
Alright,
but
you got me on a technicality. I can see, good sir.
If not for that, then I would say probably very few.
You guys have a dog?
Yeah, but he's not around here.
I can totally hear that dog losing his shit. There might be a dog outside.
Oh, yeah, can kind of sort of hear a dog from down the road.
Is he a nice dog? Do you talk to him?
I have not talked to this dog in particular. I haven't had the
Would
privilege of meeting him.
Would you mind going down there and telling him to shut the fuck up?
I will tell him that VZ himself has said to shut his goddamn mouth.
It's Mr. VZ Sama, okay?
You're right, I'm sorry. Gomenasai.
Arigato for nothing.
Baka.
Baka. Alright, so I've been playing a lot of that. It's a very interesting experience. You really gain a lot of appreciation for the other crazy people who play this game, who have these really elaborate factories.
Mm-hmm.
And you look at that and you think it's totally just like, I guess it's not hindsight bias, but it's like a weird, like, you know, you look at something and you think, oh, that's easy, and then you go and you try to do it and you're like, oh, that's actually really fucking hard. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you really gain a lot of appreciation for the kind of work that other people put into the game that they play. There's a trailer that launched with it that looks really fucking impressive and honestly highlights a lot of the stuff that you can do in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But the level of I guess like not compression, but like how compact everything is, how close they have everything set up, and how efficient it looks.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically impossible for a normal player. It's like it's on a whole nother level than what I'm doing, which is just like, you know, let me see if I can get it to build regular arms so that maybe I don't spend half the game sitting here building the fucking arms. Instead I can spend the other half of the game building the stupid belts instead.
There you go.
But yeah, it's a pretty good time. Like I said, it's been out for like a year. There's a group that I follow on YouTube, Northernline, and the whole lot of them. They started playing it recently. That's what set the spark off for me to pick it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's $30 on Steam, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Fuck. No.
Sounds pretty fucking interesting.
It's pretty good. And I've heard that recently, yeah, on Steam it's got a 10 out of 10 score.
Wow.
On GOG,
that's
it's
actually
4.9 out of 5.
Pretty fucking ridiculous.
Oh, it says it was released initially in 2012. That must have been like early access or something.
Yeah.
The full game must have come out later. Yeah, release date 2016. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. There was some talk recently about the developer is going to patch in some new stuff to add to the game, so there's still more content being made.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty good. It's a good time. I definitely recommend that you check it out if like building and optimizing and continuously upgrading shit is like up your alley.
Yeah, I do like optimization.
I will say that it's a very it's incredibly satisfying once you've built something and then you go back and look at it and it's like I'd never need to build that again and you just watch it work. Like there's it's not static or anything. There's a lot of animations to it. Like whenever the conveyor belts are carrying things and whenever the arms are moving stuff into like furnaces and stuff like that. It's very cathartic in like a sort of weird ASMR way almost. Watching it work once you've built something. It's really it's really good. It's really good.
Is that what you would rate it? Really good out of 10?
I would tend to agree with Steam, and I would give it a 10 out of 10. There's a lot of content there. There's a lot of mods as well. That's another thing. They made it moddable, and you can get a whole bunch of that. Not through Steam Workshop. You have to go through their website, but it's like really easy. It adds a whole new layer of depth to the game.
Okay. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yes, that's what I've been doing. What about you? In this incredibly eventful week that we've had.
In this incredibly eventful week, let's see. Well, as you know, I recently had what has become known as the Team Digerin sleepover, which was pretty neat. Had a bunch of friends from our guild over.
Who traveled the farthest? That was something I wanted to ask you before.
That would be Toki.
How long did she have to... She drove there, right?
She flew.
Wow. Oh, that must be nice.
Yes.
How far... Well, I guess if you don't want to give, like, state info in case if somebody wanted to dox the entirety of whatever state she lives in.
That's...
I'm sorry. I'm completely derailing whatever you were trying to get at. Please continue.
Remembering things. But I was just gonna say, the sleepover was fun. First time meeting a lot of these people. Everyone had a good time. We went out and went to there's a big river right by where we live. Went down to one of the beaches on this river, and it's almost a legit beach. There is like sand and shit. It's pretty crazy.
Wow, holy crap. That's pretty much a beach.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Right?
It's got sand. Was there water there too?
There was water.
Holy shit.
I know, it's hard to believe.
I can't believe that they actually let that happen. It boggles my mind they haven't shut that down by now.
Little known fact, water actually originated here in North Carolina.
Whoa. You better slow down with the knowledge, dude.
Spent a lot of time drinking and raiding. Spent a lot of time with no pants on. It was pretty cool.
Nice. I'm going to reach my arms through this microphone.
Okay.
And shoot that dog from your room.
Yeah, it's starting to irritate me a bit too.
It's like really loud.
I don't understand. Is it really that loud for you? Because
I can totally hear it. You probably have headphones on, so it sounds clear to you. But coming through your mic, that dog is driving me up a wall.
Hang on. Let me see if I can fuck around with Windows or something here and limit that noise. You go ahead and speak to our dear listeners for a moment so that I can take care of this. I apologize, listeners. I will personally go and take care of this nuisance with all due haste.
I will keep the masses entertained.
Alright, I will return.
So, small amendment to what I said earlier. Factorio is actually $20. So, not affiliated with them. There's, not saying that you need... not saying that you have it's not compulsory as a part of listening to this podcast or anything, but you really should go out and get that game. It's, really fun. I can't stop playing it.
Alright, I have returned. I ran down there as quick as the wind, and I told that dog he better shut the hell up.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
You know, it is a skill that I've been honing for many a year. I can't quite paint with all of them yet, but about 3/4 of the way there.
I don't remember the rest of the Pocahontas song. Something about around the river bend.
Just around the river bend.
There it is. So you guys had a lot of fun. Is there any more to that story, or were
Shut
you
up!
just
Just shut your mouth. But no, it's just a good time. Good time was had by everyone. If I had to give it a rating, I would rate it 420 out of 69.
Wow, that's really good.
Yeah,
You go ahead.
people are already wanting to do it again.
So basically, what you had, if I'm recollecting this correctly, and checking into my library-like knowledge of anime cartoons, you basically had summer break over the weekend,
Pretty much.
anime style.
That was pretty close to what it was.
That's pretty cool. Man, I wish I could have been there. I would love to have gone, but fuck, dude. There's no way I could afford a plane ticket. Not at this point. Maybe in the future.
Well, like I said, they do want to do it again, so I'll let you know when that happens, and we'll see if we can get you up here.
Maybe if the guild is still in one piece at that point.
I think we're gonna pull it off. Yeah, the listeners, I don't know how much you follow the sagas of the legendary Team Daiguren on Dalaran WoW.
Trouble was brewing on the Western Front for Team Daiguren.
It was things were a bit shaky for a little bit, but not to worry. The mighty Kamina, aka me, Kawaii Senpai 69, with the help from my trusty teammates, has we've succeeded for the time being to quell the masses.
You sound almost draconic, like you're Caesar or something, and you're giving a speech about how the Jews' faith is false and you're the one true God.
Is that what Caesar talked about?
I'm pretty sure that's... Yeah, I took, like, History 2 or something. Pretty sure that's what Caesar did.
That sounds about right. I'll give that one to you.
Alright. I wasn't at the slumber party, so I don't... Oh, that's the other thing I wanted to ask you. What's the difference between a sleepover and a slumber party, you think?
You know, that's something that I've always wondered, and I really can't tell you for sure. Let me ask my contact here, who is an expert on these sorts of things.
Oh yeah.
Destructicon. We have a dilemma here, and I need your assistance.
All right.
What is the difference between a sleepover and a slumber party?
My
well,
ass.
You know, I went to college for this, as I'm sure you know. And there was a week-long course actually
Can you
over this.
hold on?
exact-
Stop him.
Hang on a second. What's that?
Can you get him to just talk through your mic?
Here,
That would
here,
just put him like right next to your face.
come a little
and let him
closer so that our dear listeners can hear you better.
I'm fighting the boss.
Oh my God, I'll go over there.
talk.
Fucking World of Warcraft problems.
It was bad.
Go ahead.
So, as I'm sure you know, I went to college for this, and there was a week-long class over this. So the difference between a slumber party and a sleepover is a slumber party consists of generally, like 5 to 10 people, while a sleepover is a few less. So like, for when we had the TVG sleepover, we had 3 extra people here, so that would be a sleepover.
Ah, I see.
If we had had 2 or 3 more, it would have been a slumber party.
Such
The
strict
giveaway
definitions.
is slumber party. which they explained to us in like extensive detail because that was a really hard one for a lot of people to understand, as I'm sure you can. Feel.
KS, please come back to me.
I am here. I'm here, my child. And thank you, Destructicon, for that brief instructional break there.
Put your headphones back on.
They've been on the whole time.
Then I might have bad news for you. I don't think that you're recording out of your headset.
What?
That you went over there and it didn't change anything. But
oh my god.
You sound fine now. We can save that for another time.
Okay.
That's okay.
Let me play around with this because that's.
Do you want to put in a cut?
That's okay. We can keep talking since I'm back by my computer now.
All right then, listeners, just ignore that talk about a cut. This podcast is perfect and done in a single take every time. That's pretty interesting. I didn't know that there was such a strict definition, and that in no single instance has anyone ever been allowed to invite more than 10 people over at a single time.
That is 100% accurate. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Do I sound all right?
Yeah, you sound, like I said, you sound fine. It's just whenever you went over there, it didn't change anything.
So I switched my default recording device to see if that made it
live technical support, just for our lovely audience, by the way.
That is, we are so dedicated that we would not stop recording to make sure that we got you the best product possible.
To keep the hits coming all night long. So, yeah, that was your bit. That was your bit of a party. Bit of a hootenanny.
Whoa!
Since there were no children there.
Oh, okay, you're right.
Huh? Yeah. No, it's fine. That was 18 and up. You're okay. We don't have to censor ourselves for that one. I will have to go back and beep out hootenanny from the earlier section, though. I just want you to know how much effort I'm going to have to put into that. Yeah, so that's that. No segue. I played the For Honor beta this past weekend. And I gotta say, For Honor, it's a game released by Ubisoft. There's a lot of coverage. And not this past E3, but the E3 before that, whenever they announced the trailer. Kamada, you actually saw this. We were both talking about it. I don't know if you know what game it is that I'm talking about, but it's the one with the... it's like third person over the shoulder, where you're controlling like either a knight or a samurai or a Viking. You're in this like very extremely simulated and highly strategic combat. And they had they had an open beta this past weekend, and I participated in that. And at first, learning it is really fun. It's they have how many? There are 4 different game modes. There's 1v1, 2v2, and 4v4, which are all just deathmatch. Obviously, in 1v1, it's just whoever kills the other person first wins. But in 2v2 and 4, exactly, that giant helmet saved your life. But in like the 2v2 and 4v4, if you don't kill your opponent via an execution, which can happen if you don't intend it to, is sometimes based on like the situation. Like you don't just get to decide every time you kill somebody, I'm going to execute them, so to speak. And if you don't do that, the other players that are still alive have an opportunity to bring them back. So you can get these very dynamic games sometimes where there's a lot of retreating and advancing based on like who's alive and who's able to res and where everybody's location is and stuff. But and it's like that for the 4v4, but there's 4 people instead of 2. And there's also the Dominion mode, which is a very MOBA-esque like game where there's like 3 different zones that you have to capture and control, and whenever you get to a certain number of points above the other team, the other team doesn't respawn, and you have to kill all 4 of them to a man. That's also 4v4. There's no like smaller modes for that. It's like there's two zones that are just like, you go cap them, and then there's one zone in the middle that's like got two waves of creeps, so to speak, from the opposing teams, and whoever has pushed the line farther takes control of that zone. So the middle zone is more like strategic in a way, and the other ones are just like go and cap it and try to fend it off and stuff like that. And I play a little bit of all of them. I was fucking horrible at the duels and the brawls. I don't know what it is about that game. It doesn't play like a Dark Souls or like an adventure game or anything like that. It's very fighter-esque. It's very grounded in strategy.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just go up to somebody and spam, unless if they don't know what they're doing, and expect to win. It's also very heavily combo-based, so you have to be thinking ahead and make sure that you know what your next step is going to be, depending on what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really fun whenever it's in the Dominion mode, where you don't have to worry so much about dueling people. You can have interesting 2-on-2 and 3-on-1, or different kinds of encounters, as opposed to the duels where it's always 1-on-1, and that was just fucking horrible, dude. I could not wrap my head around it. It's got that hook though, where you play it and you think to yourself, you just in my case at least, I just lost, but I felt like I could do better, I felt like there was something that I understood just a little bit better, so I want to try again.
Mm-hmm.
And it's, I don't know, fun isn't the right word, but I really wanted to keep playing it. It's
addicting.
got that yeah, it's got that addicting factor to it. Kind of like any other MOBA, really.
Yeah, I was seeing that on sale, and I was thinking about it, and it looked pretty cool, but I didn't know enough about it.
Yeah, that's so. Like I said, it was on open beta this past weekend. It released today, actually, February 14th, for the low price of $60. And I just
speaking of, sorry to cut you off there, for all
No, go ahead.
our one listener, happy Valentine's Day. I know that this will be up on YouTube a few days from now, and it'll be a little bit late, but I just wanted to know that we're thinking about you.
We're thinking about each and every one of you little goofballs. And we want you to know that on this day especially, you are loved by us. And I hope that you, one listener who picked 2 minutes to listen to out of this podcast, you picked this 2 minutes.
It's a good segment.
It was a good segment. I'm actually going to cut everything else, and that's going to be the podcast.
As long as you have that little part there where you say you're cutting everything else too.
Exactly. I'll include the definition about slumber parties as well, because it's important for people to know. We got to get that knowledge out there. But yeah, that's the only issue I have with the game. It's really fun, but it's available for $60 right now, and that's just, if you got the extra cash to throw at things, and money isn't really an issue for you. For me, where game prices are semi-prohibitive most of the time, $60 this is not worth. I really want to play that game, but I just can't pay $60 for it right now. And they're selling it for $60 off right off the bat. There's a $40 season pass, so they're gonna add paid DLC to it later, and that's just fucking great. And then on top of all that, there's fucking microtransactions in the game as well. So they're just totally gearing you up to just waste a shitload of money on it. I'll play it, but I'm gonna have to wait for the price to drop. That's pretty much my verdict on it.
Yeah,
it's really
stuff like that irritates me. It's like, if you're gonna sell a full price game, I don't think you should be putting microtransactions and shit in there. And maybe it's not my place to judge that, but
no, pretty much everyone thinks that, and they keep doing it, and everybody keeps buying the games, and that's the problem. You're not in the wrong for judging them like that. That is totally. It's one thing if your game is free, but whenever there's that big of a price tag and there's still microtransactions in it.
Right, it's like with League of Legends, it doesn't bother me because it's a free game. You don't have to spend money if you don't want to, and it's not even pay to win. You can get some things to make it easier, but spending money on League of Legends doesn't guarantee that you can get anywhere.
Oh yeah, exactly. And the few games out there that are pay to win are horrible, and you know who you are, and we're coming for you.
We're gonna have an entire podcast dedicated to it, and we're gonna take you
there's
down.
There's gonna be an inquisition,
a reckoning, if you will.
The re-reckoning. Yeah, that was what I got down with. It's a pretty good time. If it weren't for the price tag, I would be playing it right now instead of doing this podcast. Sorry. I would give it like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, just because of not a 9 out of 10, probably like an 8.5. It is really pretty. It plays really well. I did look at the Steam ratings today. Ever since it released, they've been having a lot of horrible connection issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I would definitely just recommend waiting at this point. Like, I would give it an 8 out of 10 if it weren't for all the issues and the fucking price tag that they have on it as well. And my monitor is just turned off, and that was pretty spooky. Still here though.
Glad.
Good to be with you.
Glad to know that you haven't left us. Do you think it was a spooky ghost?
No, I think it was because I upgraded to Windows 10.
Why?
Because I didn't have... So, I don't know if it's because my legal version of Windows 7 was just old, but they stopped supporting it. Like all the goofy extra shit, they weren't supporting anymore.
They said they were going to stop supporting 7 at the very least. I think they're going to stop supporting 8 eventually as well.
And that happened like a while ago, and I'd gone without it for a while, and I was like, Some of my other friends say that 10 is okay, so I guess it's time to upgrade. And so far it's been alright. Still getting used to some things. But yeah, that's not really here or there. 8 out of 10, wait for the price to drop. I would say at the very most $40 is what I'd be willing to pay for this, but I would hope to see it lower at some point, maybe in sales. I don't know.
Yeah.
What you got anything else for us? KS69 Fruit Punch?
Well, back on the subject of Valentine's Day, I just want to touch on that for a minute, because I know you and I talked about that a little bit earlier. I hate that holiday. What is it exactly that you dislike about the holiday? Because I agree, but I'm not sure if our reasons are the same.
Well, I hate the holiday because I've never, forever alone, professional normie, all that kind of stuff. It's a pretty good reason to hate a holiday that's about, getting laid, I guess.
Well, actually, Easter is the one that's about fertility, so.
Oh yeah, spring solstice. I forgot about that. Wait, is
that would
spring
be an
into the
equinox.
solstice? It's an equinox. Yeah. That's what it is. What the fuck? It's not called a solstice. What is that called? It's called the... Oh my god, I know that. I know it every time that Easter rolls around, and now I can't remember because it's not the holiday. Oh, anyway. Yeah, I never really cared for it. It also is frustrating that it's like, I don't know, typical consumer shit. Companies want to pander to you and bring the prices up for shit that didn't cost as much before.
Yeah.
But I guess that's just supply and demand stuff. I can't really be mad about that. That's just a thing that happens, and I really don't have control over it.
And it's not really... I don't know that that's true supply and demand, because they artificially create the demand by putting all this shit out there when no one else would care about it otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. That's a fair point, I would say.
My big thing is I've never felt like, if you need a holiday to remind you to do something nice for the person you're with, you're probably fucking up anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of like New Year's resolutions, right? Like everyone thinks there's some sort of grand thing about the crossover to a new year, when in reality you could have just changed any day that you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
and then you continue to do nothing.
Oh yeah, that's the good shit right there.
But yeah, I don't really care much for the holiday. I'm taking it you don't either.
No, it's never really impressed me that much. Although, for the Team Diagern sleepover, I decided to break with tradition, my tradition anyway, and give Valentine's gifts slightly preemptively, obviously, since it was this past weekend. But when I was at Walmart preparing for the festivities, if you will, there was we walked past this end cap, and there were these cup holders that are in the shape of giant fists.
No.
Yeah.
No way.
And so I bought one of those.
Like, hold on. So they're cup holders, like thing to keep your drink cool. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like a coaster, not a coaster. What the fuck is the?
A cozy?
Yeah, that.
Yeah. So how is the fist oriented? Like if I have my fist in front of me, which part of my fist is the part that the cup goes into? Which part's the top?
It would be as if you are gripping a cup.
Okay, so it's... Wait a minute, hold on. So the cozy is a hand gripping a cup.
Yes.
And then you grip the hand gripping the cup.
You actually... There's a hole in the back of it that you reach into, and has a little bar in there that you hold on to.
So there's like... It's like Hulk hands for a cup.
Yes,
is what it is.
Pretty much, exactly.
Okay, go on.
Now, so I would rate Valentine's Day probably about a 3 out of 10 in the grand scheme of things, but these fist cup holders, I would rate those a 10 out of 10.
You say these as though you have one right now. Is that true?
I have one.
You're going to have to send me a picture of that because I want to use that in our thumbnail.
I will totally do that. Just remind me.
That sounds fucking amazing. Oh my god. So is that what you were? Is the fist thing what you were leading up to? Is that the summation of Valentine's Day this year? Is the fist holder cup?
Pretty much.
I can't be mad about that. Valentine's Day is a pretty mediocre day at best. Probably easily the worst holiday next to, like, I don't know, Boxing Day or something.
But you don't like
that
you don't like
elevates
Canadians?
No, not well. That's not true. I do like Canadians. As a matter of fact, I enjoy quite a couple of them. But
quite a couple.
We don't listen. I've been ill this whole week. Okay.
You're right. I'm sorry.
But yeah, I don't know what the fuck the point is I was trying to get at. That sounds like a pretty good summation of that holiday this year. I wish I could have shared in a similar experience, but unfortunately, my Valentine's Day has been go to work and be sick.
Yeah, I got to go to work and people were, well, I heard about a lot of shitty people today, but I actually didn't have any issues with any customers at all.
You know, that's the other thing too, is if it's a holiday, it's not a holiday unless you get work off, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
You know, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Labor Day, those are holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Valentine's Day, that's not a holiday. You never get off for that.
Right.
Easter doesn't count because it's always on a Sunday. They cheat there. That's not a holiday. Halloween, unfortunately, it doesn't apply. It's not a holiday.
That is really sad because it's pretty much objectively the best one, other than the fact that it's not one.
Yeah. We need to start lobbying Congress. You know, now that Trump's our president, anything can happen.
Well...
Or was that Obama?
Now that Trump's our president, Halloween might go away.
No, that's not true. Mexicans don't like Halloween.
Right, but it's not a Christian holiday.
Is he a Christian, though?
In his inaugural speech, he was well, not during, but afterwards, he talked about how God parted the clouds and kept it from raining on his speech.
That's just because he's a Republican. Oh, man. Did you... Oh, fuck. I hope that I can... Shit, I wonder if I saved that picture. There was a picture... So, whenever they have the inauguration speech, like, all the other presidents that are still alive are there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's this picture of George W. Bush trying to figure out how to get the fucking rain poncho that he has on to work for him. And it was, like... The first one was him, like, just kind of having it sitting over top of him. And he was... God, I don't remember what it was, but the second... I don't remember what it was for the first picture, but the second picture was, like, him completely encased inside of it, like you couldn't see his face. And it was, like, when you try to hide from the steel beams or something like that.
You'll have to send that to me.
I don't think I saved it. It must have been, like, on my phone or something. I'll have to look for it. It was really good.
Actually, this does bring up a good thing that I would like for us to discuss mutually here.
Okay.
So, now, Donald Trump becoming president has caused a lot of...
This is a political podcast.
Yes.
I hope everybody is accepting of that.
It's caused a lot of mixed feelings. There's a lot of people who are really against it and a lot of people who are really for it. Personally, like in my personal life, I'm very much against it. But it does give us one really good thing. Do you know what that is?
What is that?
It gives us a never-ending supply of memes.
It's I am reminded of the moment whenever Obama became the president, and there was a person doing an interview with Louis Black, and they said, now that George Bush is no longer the president, is that going to make things... Is that upsetting for you? Are you mad about that? Now that he's not going to be exposed and in the limelight so much? And I think Louis Black said something to the effect of, well, he definitely made our job easy for us.
Yep.
But, I found the picture. It's, okay, I'll have to... It's actually a fucking Twitter post. I'll have to send it to you.
But the question I want to pose to you here is, do you think that the memes will outweigh the negative impact this is going to have? And oh my god, that is fucking great. He's
so
just
stupid.
He's just gone. He's a spooky ghost. You'll have to put that picture into the podcast at this point.
Sure, I'm down with that. I'll put all the pictures in the podcast. It'll just be a series of pictures. Oh, God. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you know, it's people lost their shit whenever Obama was the president. You know, all the racists and shit came out and they were like, can't have a black person as president. He's not even from America. Where's the birth certificate? You know, investigate 311, all that kind of shit. And, you know, everybody got upset, and then everyone forgot, and nobody cared anymore. And, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. I'm sure we'll get a bunch of good memes. We've already gotten tons so far, you know. Never forget 7-Eleven. Who's going to pay for the wall?
He's so stupid. I hate him so much.
But the important thing to remember at the end of the day is that the president doesn't matter, and we're all going to die one day. So
that's true.
You don't really have to worry about it, because in the end, death awaits us all.
That's true. And to all 3/4 of a person listening to this, I want you to know that if you feel alone out there, if you
go over to our Patreon, which doesn't exist, and give us $5, you will live forever.
That is true. That is true. That's not what I was going for, but
fully embrace all of the horrors that the rest of the history of mankind can endure. Anyway, go on.
I was gonna say, if you feel alone out there, if you live in an area that is going insane right now with all the racism and all that, just remember that Kawaii Senpai 69 is here for you. I sympathize, and I'll have your back if you come to me.
Is here for you. I love this picture. CBS Donald Trump approval rating 32%. Rotten Tomatoes Paul Blart Mall Cop 33%.
Oh god, that
man.
sums up this presidency very well.
This other one that's like a picture of Donald Trump on like a big screen, and it's like he's at a wrestling event.
Mm.
And then down the runway is coming Bernie Sanders with a steel chair.
Yes,
And
I've seen that one.
We are live at the inauguration, and wait, what's this? It's my God, it's Bernie Sanders with a steel chair. This is so fucking good.
If only that had happened in real life.
100% political podcast coming to you with the facts here first.
You heard it from us before anyone else.
Exactly. So I did have another thing I wanted to talk about, but I think we're actually going to wrap it up here. It's getting late into the night, and I can feel my powers waning. The rays of the sun are no longer here to shine upon me, and I'm losing my will
to live.
I'm trying to say that I'm Birdman, basically, but it's not really working out because I don't know anything about Birdman. Where can people find you, Kawaii Senpai?
People can find me on the internet. You can find me on Twitter at Kawaii_Senpai69. You can also find me occasionally on Twitch at the same extension. Is that what that's called? I don't fucking know.
Sure, that works.
Yeah. I kind of sort of have a YouTube channel with one video on it. Eventually it'll have more when I'm not a lazy piece of shit anymore. Where can they find you, Mr. VZ Man?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. You can find me. I don't know my YouTube. I don't remember my Twitch. You can, I don't have my Twitter pulled up, so I don't know that either.
Your Twitter is at VZPZ, you fool.
There you go. At
And your-
VZ_PZ.
And your Twitch is ____VZ, I think?
No, it's VZ___.
That's right.
That's right.
There you go.
All these links will be in the description.
Yep.
Not that anybody's made it to this point. We're long past the 2-minute mark, so I don't think we have to worry about it.
Oh, yes.
What if that's gonna be?
What if the only 2 minutes that they listen to are these 2 minutes at the end?
Well, I already said I'm going to cut everything except for the important 2 minutes.
Oh, you're right.
The bit about the slumber party and the part where we talk about the existential despair of existing in this lifetime. That's going to be it. We're going to keep these coming every week from now until forever.
Yep, we will, exactly 1 week from now, you will hear from us again.
New episodes go up every Thursday at, some point before noon. There we go. That's going to be it. We're done.